So is Thailand actually losing traction? Yes, it is. Some people just don't want to come here anymore. If you are new to my channel, my name is Falah. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I try to post videos on a weekly or at least every few days to try to update people on things that are going on in Thailand and other parts of the world. So I appreciate your sub. Now let's get back to the video. Thailand has always been a digital nomad's paradise and a retiree's dream getaway with beautiful beaches, amazing food, an affordable cost of living, and welcoming locals. But this year, 2025, the desire has absolutely plunged. Other Southeast Asian countries are absolutely thriving right now, seeing an increase in foot traffic both among long-term and short-term visitors. Thailand in 2025 has only seen a 10% decline in arrivals. What are some things that are contributing to the decline, and could we possibly see some change soon? Let's find out. So, in my opinion, I think one of the biggest contributing factors to the decrease in arrivals, especially long-term arrivals, is the visa requirements. They're borderline overkill. And the sad thing is that the vast majority of the population on Earth are not going to qualify for even the bare minimum requirements to obtain even the easiest obtainable visa here that allows you to work, the Destination Thailand Visa. The Destination Thailand Visa, as good as it may sound to some of you, is a 5-year tourist visa that allows remote work. And even though it's 5 years, here's the other drawback, is that you're only allowed to stay in Thailand for 180-day intervals. So you enter Thailand, you stay 180 days, and you're eligible each calendar year to do a 180-day extension for a fee. So on top of the original visa cost, every year if you do this extension, you're gonna have an additional fee. But not only that, once you've reached your 360-day per calendar year maximum with that extension, you then have to leave the country and wait a few days. Obviously 360 days is almost a year, but you need to wait until the next calendar year to re-enter and go through the immigration process again, which to most people is a huge inconvenience because a lot of people want to move to Thailand and stay here for years and not leave. Why would you want to leave? There's so many things to do here, and that's kind of a lot of these people's intention, is to come here and stay here for years without traveling internationally. But the requirements of this visa, like I said, is that you're allowed that 1 yearly extension, and then you have to leave once per calendar year as well. And so it's borderline inconvenient, and realistically, in my opinion, it's not a 5-year visa if you have to leave. It is what it is. So I think it's kind of a combination between the unobtainable financial requirements to qualify for this visa and the inconvenience of having to leave or submit an application for an extension every year. 6 months in Thailand flies by, and honestly, it'll feel like you're constantly having to do something to keep up on your requirements to stay here. And with these requirements of constantly having to check in, even the marriage visas are the same way. There's 90-day check-in requirements, but a lot of people complain that it feels like you never truly are a local. You're never viewed as anything more than a tourist. So you could live here on these visas for 3, 4, or 5 years, and you're still gonna feel like an outsider. And I think that's another thing that really promotes people to just opt out and go somewhere else where visas are easily accessible and you can actually stay for extended periods of time. Now, one of the biggest downfalls to living in Thailand visa-free or on a Destination Thailand visa is the inability to open a bank account. Even with the Destination Thailand Visa giving you the ability to work internationally, most banks still are not gonna let you open a bank account because they view the Destination Thailand Visa as a short-term tourist-based visa, and most Thai banks require a long-term non-tourist visa to open a bank account. Now, some people say that it's still possible to open a bank account with the DTV, you know, if you go through a special process with an agent and with a significant amount of effort involved. But in most cases, it's not financially beneficial to you because these agents can charge substantial amounts of money, and the amount of money that you pay this agent can significantly outweigh what you would have paid potentially in ATM or international fees just using your bank accounts back home over the course of even a few years. So you kind of have to do your math ahead of time and decide, is it really worth the gamble? Because another thing to take into consideration, these agents don't guarantee anything. So you may have to pay them and get nothing out of it at the end of the day. It's like digging a well. You're gonna pay them to dig, but they might not get what you're after. So now, besides visa requirements and other challenges and uncertainties, another thing that has really driven people out of here is the cost of living going up substantially in certain areas, more specifically the higher tourist areas where you're gonna see, you know, short-term visitors more so than other places kind of out on the beaten path. But there's been a dramatic increase in certain areas, and it's kind of ridiculous. Now, the departments where you're gonna see the most in terms of cost of living increases is gonna be, you know, in terms of food and your house or apartment costs, or your rent, you know, for your condo. And of course, you're gonna see a much higher increase or inflation, if you wanna call it, in areas of like Sukhumvit or by Nana Station and along those really popular city center areas, more so than you're gonna see out like by Paknam and stuff like that. You get out away from the center of the city, but you know, all across the board there has been an increase. Now, the worst part about it is that a lot of locals that have been living here their entire life have slowly been pushed away from city center and away from convenience. And they're just getting pushed farther and farther and farther out because the cost of living, you know, like along the BTS SkyTrain in certain areas is going up at such a substantial rate that they're priced out of the area when just a matter of 5 years ago they could have lived there, and now there's not a chance in hell. And it's sad. And this kind of stuff happens all around the world. When things are affecting the locals, that's when it starts to get kind of irritating. There's even been locals, you know, Thai people, Thai citizens that were renting an apartment or condo, you know, and over a period of years, and then all of a sudden the owner of the property decided that nobody's able to renew their leases anymore because they're going to instead focus on short-term rentals like Airbnb and stuff like that and target tourism because they'll be able to make substantially more money that way. Not cool, not cool at all. The other thing I've happened to notice in terms of food, because I said food is another factor here, is that there's a lot more Western influenced restaurants coming in and high ticket Thai restaurants coming in, while these smaller family owned and operated restaurants are moving out. And, you know, like I said before, when you get off the beaten path and you get farther away from where everything kind of is bumping, you know, the hot tourist spots, you're gonna see significantly less of this. So there's still areas where it feels almost the same as it did 10 years ago. But when you get in the hot spots where the majority of people go, keep this in mind, this is where most people go, the prices are just going through the roof. So I think the combination between the housing costs and the food costs in the more popular areas has really put in a sour taste in many people's mouths and promoted them to go somewhere else. Now, realistically, if you have a good remote job that pays you enough to qualify for the Destination Thailand Visa and you're willing to go through the hoops required to be here, then you're going to be financially far better off than if you lived in the US or in a lot of other places. You'll be able to live a higher quality of life, have a nicer condo, do more things, and still invest more money towards retirement. But that's such a small percentage of people that actually qualify for that, and that's the major problem. And a lot of people are realizing that they can go to other places and live just as high of a quality of life or higher for less money. Additionally, some safety concerns and a stronger Thai baht have also contributed to people going elsewhere, because people are feeling like they're just getting significantly less for their money now than they were a few years ago. Now, there's many beautiful countries in Southeast Asia that are really giving Thailand a reality check, including places like Laos, Vietnam, the Philippines, and even Cambodia. Lots of social media influencers and digital nomads suggesting lower living costs and significantly less of those undesirable type of tourists that you run into on a lot of the Thailand beaches. One of the biggest issues that I see in Thailand is the nightlife and just the lack of positivity when you go out at night in the popular areas. I don't think you can go out for 5 minutes at night in the popular hotspots without somebody trying to sell you drugs on the street or sell you a fake Rolex. I swear you can't go 5 minutes without something stupid going on. And if you want to go out during the day, go to the mall. The minute you walk out of that mall, there's probably going to be a tuk-tuk driver harassing you, trying to give you a ride that you never asked for. And there's a lot of things like this. You know, it all depends on the area that you spend your time in as to whether you're going to run into these things or not. I've learned how to avoid these areas and actually live a high quality of life. But I think a lot of people are just tired of it, and some people just have the desire to live in the popular areas because that's kind of the lifestyle that they prefer, is action and just a lot of things going on, and they're just kind of tired of that and they choose to go somewhere else. Now, it just started raining, so I'm trying to make my way back home as quick as possible. I wonder if Thailand's retaliating my video right now, because the weather has been phenomenal for the last week up until the moment I decided to film this. Pretty ironic, but now I've been in Thailand for the last 2 years, and there was a couple times where I left and did some other things. It was crazy. This September and October was like a ghost town. It was by far significantly less people here in terms of tourism than last year in September and October. Everywhere you went, it felt like you were the only person there. It was so crazy. But officially now, we have just entered the high season, and so, you know, are things going to come around again and make up for the shortage, you know, through the beginning and middle of the year? You know, only time will tell. But with all the negativity surrounding Thailand lately on social media, I kind of doubt it. Now, in the end, no matter what, you know, whether things turn around and get better, or, you know, maybe they'll just progressively get worse and people will continue to forever find somewhere else to go that's cheaper. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I love Thailand and I really love Bangkok. I've been to so many major cities around the world, and I've been to every major city in America, and this is like home. So other than Vegas, which is probably my favorite city in America, which also feels like home, I have quite a few friends there, this is just the place to be. So is Thailand actually losing traction and seeing a lot less arrivals and long-term stayers? Yes, it is. Some people just don't want to come here anymore. But does that mean that it's not the right place for you? No, Thailand still has a lot to offer. There's still a lot of amazing things here, tons of things to do. Like, I'll never do even 10% of what this city has to offer. And I've been here for 2 years already. I could be here for another 20, and it'll always be a new experience. But at the end of the day, it's up to you, and it all comes down to what you consider to be affordable and what you consider not to be affordable anymore. The biggest thing is the people that are impacted the most are the people that came here years ago, you know, even 5 years ago when things were a little bit better, and they were living for half of what they could potentially live now, having the same lifestyle. Those are the people that are having the biggest problem and complaining the most about it, and they're trying to find somewhere else that offers what Thailand used to offer at that price. But if you're a first timer, you're gonna come here and you're still gonna think this is really cheap, especially if you compare it to, you know, some sort of comparable living situation back home. So But besides that, I look forward to spending yet again tons of time here, making videos, going over all of the new news and updates of Thailand, and filling you in on tourist destinations. Over the next couple of years, I'm going to continue to travel to new places in Thailand as well as new places outside of Thailand, and be able to give you a comparison. What's it like in Vietnam in comparison to Bangkok? What's it like in the Philippines? The next year is going to involve a lot of travel, and I'm super excited to share all these things with you. Hopefully you guys are interested in seeing more of the world besides Thailand. But until then, hopefully this video kind of gave you an idea of why some people are turning away from Thailand. And let me know in the comments section, is there other things that you don't like personally that made you choose somewhere else? Or is there other questions that you have about Thailand that I could potentially answer? Leave them in the comments section below. I'll do my best to answer them as quick as possible. If you have video recommendations, I'm always game for that. Like, send me a recommendation and I'll get to it as fast as possible. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.